Hello, I am Debbie McKeever, founder and owner of Strong and Healthy Temple. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is a fairly nice day out here today for December, really nice actually. So I thought that I would come out here and record a video that I've been wanting to record, and it's about practicing unconditional self-love. And I'm piggybacking off of a topic that I did on my new podcast, and I will drop the link to that episode in the comments here, because of course I'm covering different points of view in that podcast, and I'll be covering on the video. Some things may be similar, but I would also encourage you to go over and listen to that, because everything I do is unscripted, so I never say exactly the same thing. But anyway, on the subject of practicing unconditional self-love, the first thing that I want to point out is something that I pointed out on the podcast, and that is that we tend to use the terms self-care and self-love interchangeably. And also, and although one does encompass the other, they can be inclusive, they also stand alone. And the one that I wanted to focus on, of course, is the self-love. And the self-love part of that, as I mentioned, is the self-care, all the self-care rituals that we tend to practice, the spa days and all those types of things that are a part of our self-care rituals. Part of that is, loving ourselves and showing love to ourselves and practicing self-love. But self-love, more importantly, is a mindset. It is the way that you truly feel about the person that you see in the mirror. When you look at the person in the mirror, who is it that you really see? What is it that you really think about that person, that you're waking up to every morning and looking into the mirror to? And when I say waking up to, I'm not talking about your significant other. I'm talking about yourself. What is it that you really think about that person? How do you really, see that person? Do you really love that person? You hear people say a lot of times that happiness comes from within, but so does love. Love and every other emotion comes from within. Love, hatred, sadness, depression, all that stuff is on the inside first. So, and then it's projected onto the outside. If you're a happy person on the inside, then you project happiness onto the outside. If you're a person who is, hates yourself, whether you know it or not, then you project hatred onto the outside. Whatever it is that you really feel about yourself, regardless of whether or not you're conscious of it, is what you will project onto the outside. And so in practicing self-love, one of the most important things to note is that it's not selfish to love yourself. It's okay to serve other people, but sometimes you have to put yourself first. You don't want to be to a point that you're self-absorbed and selfish, and that you're always putting yourself first in every instance, and never thinking about others. Yes, you want to think about others, but you also have to think about yourself. And as I mentioned on the podcast, fill your vessel first, and then you can pour into the other cups. You can't serve if your vessel is empty. So it's not about trying to appear selfless and trying to do for everyone else and putting yourself last, because all that's going to do really is it's going to drain you mentally, and it's going to make you frustrated. And so you have to focus on yourself, at some point, other than just the self-care rituals. Truly loving yourself from the inside out, having good thoughts about yourself, silencing the inner critic, talking lovingly to yourself, basically pouring into yourself the way that you pour into others. If you're a person that treats everyone else really kindly, and you treat yourself, badly or kind of half-baked, then, that's not practicing self-love. Pour into yourself the way that you're pouring in to other people. Love yourself in that same way. Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself without strings attached, the way that you're pouring yourself into your significant other or whoever it is that, you're pouring yourself into, your children. Love yourself in that same way, and that's okay. Again, just because you're being selfless doesn't mean that you have to be selfish toward yourself. And it all starts from the inside. A lot of times we'll say that we're looking for love, but first you need to love yourself. People say things like, you're looking for love in all the wrong places. If you're not looking for love within yourself first, then you're automatically looking in all the wrong places. And a lot of times that's why we end up attracting the wrong things to us when we're looking for love, is that we've forgotten that we haven't given that to ourselves first. Whatever you want, whether it be love or kindness or respect or whatever it is, give that to yourself first. And that's kind of like the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, in the reverse, do unto yourself first, and then others will in return do that to you. If you're kind to yourself first, then others will be kind to you, because that's what you'll begin to attract to you. If you want somebody to love you and pamper you and all those things, love and pamper yourself first, and you'll be surprised at how you'll attract that naturally. Because again, whatever is on the inside is what manifests on the outside. So it's not always just the physical acts that you're performing. You might be, it's kind of like putting on a performance. You're doing all these things for other people, but on the inside you're a miserable person. And so that's that energy that is within you. And you may or may not know that everything is energy. So whatever the energy is that's on the inside of you, that's what you're attracting to you. I talked about on one of my podcasts, having an unhealthy mind. And if you have an unhealthy mind, you attract unhealthy things in your life. Well, if you don't love yourself, if you're not treating yourself the way that you want to be treated, that's not what you're going to attract to yourself. If you're always critical of yourself and, down on yourself, that's the energy that you're going to attract in your life. So whatever it is that you want, again, whether it be love or anything, give that to yourself first, and then you'll attract that. Treat yourself, to the spa day, and then you'll attract somebody else that wants to attract you to the spa day. And I know that that's part of self-care, but again, it's part of showing love to yourself. But more importantly, the love part of it is it's a mindset. And so you have to change your mind about yourself. If you have to create an alter ego, I talked about on one of my podcasts how I created an alter ego for myself when I was 14 years old, of who I want to be. Think about who it is that you want to be, and create that alter ego until you become one with that alter ego. It's one I'll use as an example. Beyonce, she created that alter ego, Sasha Fierce. And at first Sasha Fierce was the person that was on stage, and Beyonce was someone completely different when she stepped off stage. But then she became one with that alter ego and created an empire based on that. And so the alter ego that I created for myself when I was 14, this was a person who was a powerful entrepreneur, and not only that, but a mogul. And a person that was very self-confident and just had everything going on, the money, the looks, the confidence, all that stuff. And so recently I've reconnected with that alter ego, and I'll keep connecting with that alter ego until I become one with that ego, until I have everything that alter ego encompasses. And so you may have to do something like that. All the time affirmations don't work, but they do work. But they it may not be something that is natural for you. So you want to try different things and see what works for you. You have to feed your mind. I know I say it all the time, but it's just the truth. Feed your mind, and just convince yourself of whatever it is that you want to be until you become that person. So love yourself enough to do that. Stop putting yourself last, make yourself a priority, and learn how to love yourself unconditionally. And you'll be surprised that when you learn how to love yourself unconditionally, then you'll be uh, less judgmental toward other people. Because if you're judgmental toward yourself, then that projects onto other people. Again, whatever is on the inside, is going to project on the outside. So once you learn how to love yourself unconditionally, you'll learn how to love other people unconditionally, and your life will be so much better for it. So anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video with your family, friends, and network. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications of when I release new videos. Thank you for watching and enjoy this beautiful day.